What's up? I'm Simone.
And I'm Sierra.
And this is Up on Game. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about high-profile athletes. The definition of a high-profile athlete is an athlete that's in high school, that's about to go to college, that has already this reputation, very popular, and has very big expectations stepping into college. Some of the perks that come with this is that when you're in high school and then you about to make that leap to college, and as soon as you step on campus, you have that reputation of like, oh, that's such and such, they did this, they did that, oh, they're going to bring this energy to our campus, you're going to be very popular. And since the bill passed in California, for those California schools, you're going to be making a little income, because if you're this high profile athlete, you're going to be wanted on magazines, your jerseys will sell, anything with your name on it's going to sell. So you get a little more fan base, and then you get a bigger income. Can't compete with that.
Right. So, and another thing to add to that is that some high-profile athletes are made overnight. So when I say that, like in college, you have a good game, if your team wins a championship or something, it could be overnight. It could be this quick that you turn in. You go from a regular college player to a high-profile athlete. It could be overnight that something like that changes. So it's something that you always need to be prepared for, even if you don't come in high school as necessarily the top dog.
Right.
At your school. Sometimes it can happen overnight, like I said.
Like that's good you said that. Like, for example, like in March Madness, remember that Villanova team that made that run?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, okay, like they're not really a small school, they're really good, but it's just like some of those players were like big time during that 2-week stretch, and then they had high picks in the draft because of that.
Yeah, so basically we're saying that sometimes it's not necessarily you come out of high school, it can happen in college, or it takes just one game, So we talked a little bit about the perks, but we really want to get into some of the things to expect as a high profile athlete, or some things to be prepared for. And the first thing we're going to talk about are the reactions from fans. So when we talk about reactions from fans, we're talking about good and bad. And we're mostly going to focus on the stuff on social media, because social media is such a big part of everyday life and everyone's life now. And a lot of high-profile athletes get a lot of praise as well as backlash from the games they play and different things they do as an athlete. So I think that's something you need to be prepared for. So when you have a good game, they'll celebrate you and praise you and say, oh, you're the best thing since whoever, and you're the best player in the world, and all this and this other stuff. But when you have a bad game, they flip the switch like that, and they talk about how maybe you don't deserve to be here, and different other things like that. And it could get so extreme to they'll send you death threats. Like when I was in Michigan, there was a game, I believe my senior year, our football team was playing Michigan State. Our team lost. It was a play at the end of the game. Our kicker, he was trying to kick the ball off. It got blocked. Michigan State got the ball and scored a touchdown to beat us at Michigan. Okay, so it was a big deal. Everybody is so into the game or whatever. But people were going overboard with him. They were sending him death threats, trying to figure out where he was, and really just on him. And he necessarily wasn't a high-profile athlete, I would say, but his team, he was a part of a whole high-profile team, okay? So that's some of the things that you may have to deal with, and some things you need to be prepared for. Not saying that every time you mess up, I don't want you guys to be scared, like, oh, I'm going to get death threats every time I mess up on a play. No, it's just, maybe you need to establish something with yourself. Maybe I want to look at comments after the game, good or bad. Maybe, have, like, not be so hard on myself, or not take the comments so seriously, like laugh it off instead of being so serious about it.
But there's a thing on social media where, like, to even avoid all that, just on your Instagram, just flip the switch so there won't be no comments. Because at the end of the day, you won't you won't feel too high or too low, and that keeps you level-headed.
Yeah, it just depends on the person. If you can handle the comments, then you can handle it. If you can't, if you don't think you can, make some decisions and move some things around so that maybe the comments are limited. Maybe only certain people can comment or different things like that. Just protect your mental health and your mental space, because it's very important, like we talked about in previous episodes, to be on top of your mental game as well as your physical game. The next thing we're going to talk about is being misjudged as a high-profile athlete.
Wow, it's easy to be misjudged nowadays, especially because social media is like out there, and it's just like when you're a high-profile athlete, you got all these eyes looking at you. With all them eyes looking at you is different point of views. So, like, I could take it from my experience when you recruit, when you on that recruitment process and you're already on the team and you want to see who's coming in, you're gonna look at social media, you're gonna look at the name, you're gonna look at stats and stuff, because you want to see who you're playing with. You want to see if they're cool, or you want to get an idea of who's going to come in with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like with social media being so vulgar, being so out there, it's easy to misjudge somebody just off a picture, off a caption, off a tweet.
I think it's just kind of in human nature to judge people, not or just have a idea of how a person is gonna be, before you meet them.
Mm-hmm.
I know from experience, when we used to have recruits coming to our school, I had a perception off of them from whatever I saw, and when they actually came to the school, a lot of times it was different than what I expected. I think it's just, kind of human nature to think like, oh, based off what I see on the internet or based off whatever, I think you're a certain way. Me personally, I didn't treat you like I was the type of person like, oh, I think she's this way, but let me get to know her first. And as a high-profile athlete, you may, encounter that a lot. People that may be like, oh, I thought you were like this, but you can't really worry about stuff like that. Just make sure you remain yourself.
Stay true to yourself.
Show people who you really are when you get there.
Right.
The next thing we're going to talk about is remaining humble, and I think that's so important, especially as a high-profile athlete. I think that's humble. I think that's important in general, to be humble. But just like as a high-profile athlete, we talked about the perks, especially as the bill getting passed. You may be on cover of magazines. You may be the only one on your team getting money, and, it's just important to, remain grounded, remain balanced, have people around you that, that you can joke around with. You don't want to put yourself on a high horse, because just as quick as you get it, it can be taken away. Like, injuries can happen, God forbid. A lot of different things can happen that can, take you off of what you, like, your high horse. You never want to think you're better than anyone else. You always want to, keep working hard. You don't want to be complacent. You don't want to be like, oh, I'm already good. I'm an ESPN top 100 player. I don't have to work out as much as this player that's ranked 300 or different things like that. You always have to keep a sharp mindset and not, it's always about not getting complacent, not thinking you're too good for anything, because at the end of the day, like, you're not. You're a player just like everybody else.
Exactly, and you're there for the same reason everybody else is there, to win. Right.
So it's very, very important. I think remaining humble is so important in all aspects of life, especially as a high-profile athlete and as a high-profile team. If you're on a team that's a high-profile team, it's a reason that you're there. Like, your work ethic and the discipline and all the things that got you there, you gotta keep doing it. It's important not to get complacent, not to be like, okay, we made it now. No, you didn't make it. Keep working and keep doing what you have to do to remain on top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's very important. Okay, now it's time to take a break, you guys.
We got water break.
We'll be right back with the water break. Peace.
Hey, you guys, we are back with a little water break. Something out of our element, okay? We're going to do a little football. Yes, a football game, okay? So we're going to give each other 15 seconds to see who can name the most positions on a football field, okay? Lately, it's been like too many tiebreakers. I know y'all think we're being nice because we're sisters, but no, we're going to pick a winner today, okay? And this winner is right here. It's going to be a winner today. So I'm about to put my earphones in, get my music going, okay? This here is gonna go first, and I'm gonna have earphones in, eyes closed, so I won't read her lips, okay? Let me get my tunes. Alright, I'm ready.
For the record, she ain't gonna beat me. Let's just make that clear right now, okay? I'm gonna start in 5 seconds, y'all. I got 15 seconds to, name it. 3, 2, 1. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, D tackle, middle linebacker, outside linebacker, DB, tight end, defensive tackle, O-line. I don't know, that's a lot of people, huh? Okay. That's my time. Oh man. Okay.
I smell a W coming for me.
Where's my headphones?
They right here. How you think you did?
I do what I do.
Okay.
All the time.
Okay, we'll see.
Whoa, sorry, y'all.
I'm gonna start at 50. Alright, quarterback, running back, fullback, wide receiver, tight end, right guard, left guard, center, D tackle.
That's it.
I got 9.
All right, y'all. The baby album is going crazy, though.
Yes.
All right, so we'll put the score up here, okay? And we'll see who won, okay? Thank you for tuning in to our water break. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any, ideas for us to use or any games you would like to see us play, let us know. Hit the inboxes, the DMs, and all
The
that
comments,
stuff.
all that.
Yeah, let us know what y'all would want to see us do, okay? But now we're back to our episode, okay?
Yes.
Y'all tune in, okay? So, hey, you guys, we're back from the water break. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But now we're going to continue talking about, the life of a high-profile athlete and some of the things you may endure or some of the things you may face, just being a high-profile athlete or being on a high-profile team, okay? So now we're going to start off by talking about just people trying to use you. So having people in your circle that don't or may not have your best interests at heart, okay? And sometimes that comes with being a high-profile athlete. People come around just because you're on the cover of the newspaper or you're this, you're that. They're not there genuinely for you and for the person. They're there for the fame and the fortune, whatever that may come with it. So some of the things we're going to talk about under that topic are people trying to extort you, people trying to steal from you or use you, people trying to, secretly record you doing something you're not supposed to be doing and then posting it on social media. And we're also going to talk about, some of the things that go on between girls and high-profile athletes. Like some girls are really out there trying to trap, high-profile athletes, whether that's with a baby or with money or like with different charges, like sexual charges. Like we just gonna keep it real on this show, okay?
Yeah, gotcha.
Like it's been stories of women, going after high-pro athletes and saying that they've been raped by them or sexually assaulted and things like that, and sometimes it has not been true. So it's something that high-profile athletes have to be careful of, and we're just gonna,
cautious.
we're just gonna go over all those different things and how some of the ways you may be able to handle it. So let's talk about some of those things.
Okay, so extortion is basically like a form of blackmailing, okay? So, in my opinion, when you come across people in college, you have to really feel them out and use your better judgment, okay? Because,
especially if you're a high-profile athlete.
Yeah, and it's okay to just be around some people just to say hi and bye, and you got to learn how to have different conversations with different people, because at the end of the day, you're a high profile, so people are going to be praying for your success just as well as praying for your downfall. So you have to just be cautious of what you say to people and know when you're saying it to somebody that you really trust, that they keep it between that party, that inner circle.
Yeah, I think you should be, like they say, it's better safe
than
sorry.
sorry.
So not tell everybody your business, keep it like a couple close friends, that you really trust, that were, like as a person growing up and just experience different things, you can kind of tell who's there for you and who's not, so you need to kind of, if you can't do that, you need to kind of try to weed out the bad ones, because you don't want to tell people that aren't there for you genuinely your personal business, then it spreads, and then it's something that's around the whole school, and something that's that's going around that you don't want to go around. I think that's with anybody, but especially as a high profile athlete.
Right.
You want to keep, just a tight circle of people that you confide in. And then you can have a lot of friends or whatever,
Right.
but I think you need to have a tight circle that you confide in and tell your personal business to.
Right.
So another thing we talk about is people using you, stealing from you, we've heard stories from student athletes, high profile student athletes that have had their money stolen from them, from people they've known since they were little, people that use them, just for their their presence, like, oh, come here and for this and this and that and different things like that. Also, I think this is another important one, especially since, like we said before, social media is so important in our day and age. Getting caught up on social media, so that's just always being aware of your surroundings, always acting as if somebody is watching you, because you could be at a party or whatever, and somebody could be in there record, like, oh, such and such just walked in, and just be on their phone secretly recording you. If you're in a party, like, doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, we know in college parties drinking and different things like that goes on, but you don't want to be passed out on the floor, or you don't want to be doing other activity that you're not supposed to be doing.
Right.
Just try to shield yourself. You have to know that you're kind of a brand.
Yeah.
Right?
You are a brand.
Yeah. You represent the school. You represent yourself. You know what I'm saying? So just be very, very cautious of what you're doing. Always act like there's somebody watching you, because as a high-profile athlete, and as a student athlete in general, there probably is somebody watching you.
Right. And plus, you got to have that mentality, like, you're not about to let one 10-second video or one 15-second video disrupt your money flow, especially if you know you're getting paid now. You can't let nobody disrupt that money flow.
Or your reputation.
At all.
You don't want anything outside of your sport to overshadow your work that you're putting into your sport.
Right, because you work too hard for that.
Right, and another one we're going to talk about is, the females trapping young college athletes, and a lot of times we hear a lot of stories about the females doing it to the male athletes. Some females go into college, and if I've been around females or heard stories about females while in college that really had that mindset that I want to just be with him, so I can get pregnant, or I can, he can give me money, or different things like that. So you just have to watch out who's around you. I think it goes on more with the male athletes, and that's something more male athletes have to deal with. Just so be careful of, all the different temptations and things like that. Everything that looks good is not good. You know what I'm saying? So be very cautious.
And when you have that idea of that temptation sinking in, just think hard and think of why you're really at that school.
Yeah, just be careful.
Please.
It's a lot of people out to get you a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Next thing we're going to talk about is how high-profile athletes are held to a higher standard. We're going to do this one brief because we talked about this in another episode. Just, like how you can't do the things that everybody else is doing, especially as a student athlete and a high-profile student athlete. Like we said before, you're being watched all the time. Different things like that. So we had a whole episode on that, and how to, just to how to handle yourself in public. Be a good person out in public. You never want your reputation or anything to be tarnished based off one bad decision. Okay, so be very cautious and be very aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Okay, the last thing we're gonna talk about is pressure. Okay, and this is something that you're gonna have to deal with. So let's talk about that.
Like, for pressure, you could get pressure instantly just from your family, just the stress of just the pressure of being in class, like,
but as a high profile athlete,
yeah, pressure from
you getting pressure from millions and millions of people.
You don't even know.
That's what I'm saying. So it's something that it might be hard. It might be overwhelming. Especially, it might be different for somebody who came in high school and was already a high profile athlete. But those that become ones overnight, like they had a good game and the game was big or whatever. Now you're a high profile athlete. Those pressures might be hard to deal with because it's something
it's coming fast.
Yeah, something you may not have been used to. But I think the best way to handle pressure is, to remain yourself. You don't want to get too caught up in things that you can't control. You can't control people's opinions and people's emotions and how they feel about you.
Right.
I think you just stay lighthearted. I mean, like, sometimes you got to laugh stuff off, not take things too seriously. Surround yourself with people who are fun going, because a lot of times laughter and having fun gets you through a lot of hard times and hard situations. Right. Some people are able to embrace the pressure. Like, this is some people, the pressure makes them better, makes them perform better. But always remember who you are. Keep working. Never get complacent. Never get like, oh, I've made it. Never get that mentality. Keep working and keep trying to get better. And I think, that's a great way to handle pressure, and just, talking to people and releasing some of that stress, if it gets too overwhelming at times.
Right.
Okay, you guys, so that wraps up our episode for today. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave your comments, thoughts, and ideas, in the comment section.
Share the video, spread the word.
Right.
Thanks for the support.
That's it for Up On Game.
We out of here.